This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, February the 27th, is an iconic golfer who's known for his one major shot at the Masters in 1935. Now, of course, there have been other people born February 27th that I have covered the past 3 years, but they are alive. They were alive. I couldn't find anyone that was alive by technicality, so I went with this guy. And this guy was one of the world's best golfers in the 20s and 30s, not named Bobby Jones. His name is Gene Sarazen. Actually, he was born Eugenio Saraceni because his parents were Sicilian immigrants. Then he changed it to Gene Sarazen, making it more English. So Gene Sarazen was born February 27, 1902 in Harrison, New York. At age 10, he began caddying, took up golf himself, and developed his skills. He was self-taught. He would use the interlocking grip to hold the club, as in just using finger over finger, I believe. Anyway, Saracen got to the U.S. Open at age 18 in 1920, which was great as an amateur. He would take some professional club pro jobs in the New York area. By 1921, he was a professional in Titusville, Pennsylvania, and made to be the professional. He would stock the golf shop and give lessons, but would spend time at Oakmont Country Club practicing with other golfers. So, anyway, he would win the PGA Championship at Oakmont in 1922, alongside the U.S. Open at Skokie Country Club. So he won 2 of the 4 majors. Now, back in the 1920s and 30s, the 4 majors weren't always the British Open, the US Open, the PGA, and the Masters. Well, the Masters did not exist then, and some people didn't consider the US Open. But anyway, it was always the US Amateur and the British Amateur that would be championship. That's how Bobby Jones got his Grand Slam. Anyway, Sarazen was a contemporary and rival of Bobby Jones, born in the same year and would have battles with Walter Hagen as well. They were the dominant players in the 1920s. And there was a massive interest in golf around the world during this period, also with the financial boom after World War I, if I must say so. He would be part of 6 Ryder Cup teams in the U.S., playing every Ryder Cup from 1927 to 1937 when it was U.S. versus Britain, aka Ireland, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and no, I said Ireland, sorry. It's Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, and Wales. Regardless, Sarazen claimed to have invented the modern sand wedge and debuted the club at the British Open in 1932, where he won. He could wedge it out of those massive bunkers that the English clubs were known for. He called it the sand iron. And all that. He struggled with his sand play and all that. So anyway, Sarazen figured that the sand wedge needed to be used so that his sand game can do a lot better. So anyway, Sarazen's innovation was to weld solder onto the lower back of the club, building up that flange so that it sat lower than the leading edge when sold. The flange would contact the sand first and explode sand as the shot is played, and the additional weight would provide punch to power through the thick sand. So everyone used his basic knowledge of sand wedge. Anyway, the Masters debuted in 1934, and the second version in 1935, he hit the shot heard around the world, as they say in golf terms. Final round, 15th hole, 1935. He had what he did. He struck a spoon, or what they call the modern equivalent to the 4-wood, from 232 yards out, and somehow, in some way, it landed in the hole, scoring a double eagle, meaning 3 under par. Because a birdie's 1 under par and eagle's 2 under par. So with that -3, with that shot, He was down by 3 to Craig Wood. He actually ended up tying Craig Wood with that one shot. They had to go to a 36-hole playoff on the Monday, and Sarazen won by 5 shots. So, yeah, a lot of people said that double eagle won Sarazen the Masters. Technically, it didn't. It tied him with Craig Wood, and they basically tied each other. The Sarazen Bridge was named in 1955 to commemorate the double eagle's 20th anniversary. It's one of the most famous golf shots in history and often imitated but never duplicated, if you will. Sarazen's double eagle compares in modern times with Louis Oosthuizen's double eagle when he somehow found the slope on, I believe, the 11th and rolled it in the cup from far away. Regardless, he was one of the longest hitters Sarazen was. He could hit the ball very far. Not the 300 yards that you can see nowadays, but like 260 and all that. And he was only 5'5". So he was not that tall. But he had a very good living from golf and all of that. He would play a golf match every day for 60 days. He looked pretty impressive. He would always wear knickers or +4s, the weird golf fashion, but he did all that. He was an honorary starter at the Masters for many years. Between 1981 and 1999, he would join Byron Nelson and Sam Snead in hitting a ceremonial tee shot before each Masters tournament. He was an early TV broadcaster at important events and shocked a lot of people at the 1973 British Open. At age 71, he hit a hole-in-one at Troon's postage stamp hole. He won the Bobby Jones Award for his distinguished sportsmanship in golf. And Sarazen actually had what is still the longest running endorsement contract in sports history when he was with Wilson Goods in 1923, and until his death, he would be with Wilson, even in retirement. So it took 75 years. Amazing. Most people aren't even that old. Well, I, for one, are half that age, but anyway. He did all that. He would die of pneumonia complications in Naples, Florida in 1999, but at the age of 97, a long life lived and all that. So he got to the World Golf Hall of Fame by 1974. He was a Lifetime Achievement Award winner from the PGA Tour in 1996. In 2000, he was named the 11th greatest golfer of all time. 11th greatest golfer of the 21st century, if you will. No, 20th century, excuse me. But anyway, he won 38 PGA Tour events with 7 majors, winning the PGA Championship in 22, 23, and 33. Well, 1922, 1923, 1933, I should say that. 2 U.S. Opens in 1922 and 1932. The British Open in 1932 and the Masters in 1935. So, no, he didn't win 3 majors in a year, but he still did well. He got 7. That's pretty impressive. He would compete at the Masters for many years after his days were behind him. Well, he did quite well. 7 majors. When he took second 4 times, twice at the U.S. Open, once at the British Open, once at the PGA. So that's pretty good. 7 majors isn't anything to sneeze at. Like, you know, that's pretty impressive and all that. So Gene Sarazen will always be known for his double eagle in 1935, but he was known for so much more, especially with his endorsement deal with Wilson for 75 years. Unfreaking real. But that's what happens. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond.